Hi, I'm Jamie Dimon, New York-based visual artist. Brenda's Nursery is part of a larger body of work called Mother Love, where I collaborated with an outsider art community called Reborners, who are predominantly women who hand make, collect, and interact with hyper-realistic dolls. I guess generally speaking, in my work, I'm often kind of examining the relationship between image and reality, exploring photographic veracity, kind of puncturing and destabilizing specific paradigms that exist within specific genres in photography. Predominantly the family portrait is something that I'm constantly going back to in my practice. But my work kind of oscillates between photography and video and performance, sometimes even takes the form of sculpture, like in this work. So I guess each body of work is a little different, but overall, I'm very much interested in the relationship between artifice and photography. So I'm also interested in the intersection between photography and fiction and deconstructing certain kind of mythologies and stereotypes when it comes to photographic representation. So in my current work, I'm actually working on several different projects, one of which I have been researching since 2015 and started materializing in 2019, so shortly before the pandemic struck. And in the body of work, I'm exploring commodified intimacy, non-sexual platonic interaction between strangers. My research began in Japan, in Tokyo, where I was really interested in these service economies that were established in order to fulfill kind of that human need and desire for intimacy. And ultimately, that led me to Cuddle Community here in America. And I've been collaborating, very fortunately, with different professional cuddlers. In 2019, I was able to physically hire and interact with these professional touch practitioners. And now I'm kind of expanding that project outwardly, thinking a lot, again, like I was saying earlier, about my overall kind of practice, but thinking about human connection, the benefits of touch, which is interesting thinking about now when touch is kind of prohibited due to the pandemic. So all these things were already very much at the forefront of my practice and interests. So much of my work is this kind of deep examination and exploration of human connection, intimacy, touch, and other forms of connection that can be established both between, obviously in these very kind of authentic relationships, but also commodified, and thinking about authenticity and bonds that could be like meaningful bonds that could exist between, in this case, inanimate objects, right? So between human and a synthetic object in the form of a doll, but also between two strangers. But there's strong affinities, I would say, between this new body of work and the reborn community that I worked with for 6 years. So it's interesting to kind of reflect back and see this piece that was done in 2014 and then thinking about my work right now. So much of the reborn community and the Mother Love series was also about really getting to know and understand a community, a subculture of individuals who cultivate this incredible craft, the making, the caring, and the nesting, of these dolls. And I think the nursery really speaks to that. So this one particular nursery is Brenda's Nursery. So Brenda is specifically a collector. She's not a reborner. She doesn't make the dolls themselves. She collects them like, a collector would. And these are her joy and they give her a lot of pleasure. And this is her nursery. So this is where the dolls live. It's where she houses them. It's where she cares for them. And you can see there are dozens of these dolls. There was a lot of negotiation in terms of constructing the image and figuring out the best compositions and how the dolls should be dressed, how they should be styled. And yeah, it's a really special piece. And I'm so happy to have it part of this collection. This is Jamie Dimon for the Monira Foundation Artist Talks.